This is the story of a 10th grade economics class who is learning about boycotts and their influence on demand. This is a small portion of a large unit on supply and demand. Using social constructivism, students can construct their knowledge and contribute to the final product as a group. They work together in collaboration, co-constructing knowledge in small groups in this instance. The goal of this lesson was to make sure students understand the role of a boycott and how that affects demand, and also how a successful boycott can lead to change and impact an entire marketplace. Students were given the term boycott, and in groups of 4 to 5, they had to identify what the term meant and answer questions concerning one of 5 historical boycotts. The boycotts consisted of 1765, the Stamp Act boycott, the 1902 kosher meat boycott, the 1955 and 56 Montgomery bus boycott, the Great Boycott of the 1960s, and the tuna boycott of the 1990s to save the dolphins. These historical boycotts set the base for what students would be doing on day 2 on their own. After discussing the particulars of each, students were able to see how these successful boycotts impacted demand for a product or a service. After discussing the different boycotts as a class and putting these boycotts into perspective for my students, they were instructed to complete a number of tasks on day number 2 in their small groups. First, they had to research a product, service, or company they did not agree with. I gave them some ideas such as Nike using child labor in the past or Walmart sending work overseas, and the students just took off from there. Once they chose a particular boycott, they had to create a flyer showing what their boycott was all about. This would be something that would advertise their cause and get people to join their boycott. Next, they had to create a demand graph showing how they think their boycott will affect demand for their product or company. They were then instructed to write a 200-word letter to the editor about their boycott and why they were boycotting that particular product or company. Lastly, they had 6 questions to answer concerning their boycott and its effect on the market. These were tasks they completed in their groups constructively together. After spending the hour collaboratively constructing their knowledge of their own boycott, we spent day number 3 reviewing each boycott as they presented their flyer and read their letter to the editor to their peers. This led to great discussion and brought in some great ideas that I could have never planned for. Overall, I think this was a very successful lesson. In the past, I've used notes and discussion techniques to teach boycotts and their impact on demand. With the use of social constructivism, and instead of me being the leader, I acted as a facilitator or guide throughout the learning. Students now have a better understanding of boycotts and how to co-construct knowledge as a group and as a class through their experience firsthand. At the end of day number 2, one student brought up the idea of boycotting slushies from a local business in town because in the past few weeks they have gone from 73 cents per slushie to $2.99 apiece. After discussing this as a class, we decided that with a letter to the editor of our local paper and by creating flyers, both things they did during this lesson, we could stage our own boycott of slushies from this business and greatly impact their demand, hopefully forcing them to lower their prices. This is where I thought, yes, they are getting it, and this is working.